All right, Chelsea, let's get started here. And I'm going to start with a game that I know you like. In fact, I'm going to let you go first here. I'm going to be the old gent and let the lady on the show give us her favorite pick. Once again, squad play. It's so funny. We have not talked about our picks, but we have been sharing a symbiotic brain here. So tell me who you like in game one.
Yeah, I think we both are being super square this weekend. But
I know.
pushing that aside, I will let you finish, but I think the Pats can win this game outright against the Browns. Looking at the Browns' run defense, I think that's the key matchup here. Bottom five against the run, and the Pats have done a great job of running the football. Ramondre Stevenson has been great in the past couple of games. If you look at that game against God, I just forgot. I lost my notes. But anyways, this Patriots run offense, I think, is the key here because if you don't put too much on the shoulders of Bailey Zappi, I think the Pats can win this game. And plus, the revenge factor for Bill Belichick going against his former quarterback, Jacoby Brissette. Who do you think has the upper hand in that matchup? I think I'm going to go Bill Belichick, a great defensive mind. I feel like they're going to be able to scheme up against Jacoby Brissette, make him beat them as opposed to the ground attack that is Nick Chubb that probably is going to have a big game regardless. So I'll go the Pats with the 2.5. Wish this was 3, but I'll still take the Pats getting the points here.
Yep, I'm with you, Chelsea. Another squad play. Man, why don't we just wrap this show early and say, hey, we're playing the same bets on everything. You guys have a great weekend. See ya. But this is who we like, and I love the Patriots for the reasons you mentioned. We've seen the money move in New England's direction. I think Ramondre Stevenson, that's maybe another prop to look at. We were talking about player props earlier in the show. He had a season high, a career high, 161 yards last week. And not only that, Chelsea, I don't expect him, he had a career high, he's going to have another career high. But the Browns have a really hard time stopping the run. And you mentioned Jacoby Brissette. More than a revenge game, I think this is about scheme. Bill Belichick made a name for himself, is known as a defensive mind. So having coached Jacoby Brissette and been his head coach, you know he's going to have something special for Jacoby Brissette. I think Belichick can scheme that defense against Brissette, and the Browns just don't look like a great football team right now. I believe in Bailey Zappi. That sounds like a sativa strain, so I'm all over it. Let's go Patriots plus 2.5 in Cleveland. I am with you on that.
Also, Bailey Zappi had the highest Wonderlic score out of the draft between quarterbacks. So I think he's a smart guy. So let's go, Pats. If you want to watch that one, kickoff set for 1 Eastern on the early slate in Cleveland.
Pick six. Pick six.
All right, let's continue to ride the coattails of the New York Football Giants. I'm going to go the Giants plus 6 against the Ravens this weekend. And namely because I get it. The Ravens run defense is good, but they've allowed some big time performances against opposing running backs. We were just talking about Ramondre Stevenson. That's who I was trying to think of. Against the Ravens, he had 73 yards on the ground, averaging 6.1 yards per carry, because I think that's the metric you need to look at, not just overall yards, but how well they are doing and how efficiently they are running the football. Joe Mixon of the Bengals against the Ravens went for 73 while averaging 5.6 yards per carry. Anything over 5 is pretty solid. So I think Saquon Barkley, the cornerstone of this offense, can get going. And that's really been the key for this Giants team that's had a very surprising start. If they can get Saquon involved and running the ball efficiently, Daniel Jones doesn't have to be as much of a factor. So I think especially when you're getting 6 points at home against this Ravens team that's had trouble in the second half, closing out some of these games. A lot of their losses have come in the second half. The Giants continue to be undervalued in the market in my eyes. And also the numbers support it. 4-1 against the spread this season. The Ravens just 2-1 against the number. So let's go Giants getting that 6 points at home.
Ooh, Chelsea. I like that quite a bit. I almost played that myself, which would have been another squad play. I wanted to ask you this. Is this one of those games where we've seen the line move in the Ravens' direction, right? So would you have bet this earlier if you could have gotten the Giants at plus 4.5, or do you like the fact that it's moved this far and now there's value on the other side?
Oh, I still liked the Giants, but clearly it's 6. I think the problem is when you see money coming in on the other side, it makes you a little bit more wary of your bet, because originally I was thinking with my square brain and said, oh, the Giants getting points. Oh, the Jets getting 7 points. I'm going to play both the New York teams, but I have narrowed it down. I think I can only trust the Giants. I don't know about the Jets.
I love the Giants here. I love them at +6, and I'm with you. The Giants are getting the absolute most out of their talent. Doesn't mean they have to win this game, but I don't know if there's been a coach in the NFL who's done a better job than Brian Daboll of maximizing the talent or lack thereof. The fact that he's using Saquon in the Wildcat is fantastic to me, because normally you see that in college. I love that Saquon's healthy. Daniel Jones is battling through injury, but looked good last week, and they rallied last week. So this is a Giants team with some momentum. I'm with you, Chelsa. Giants +6 is the play. It is a 1 o'clock on Sunday start at the Meadowlands.
Pick six. Pick six.
All right, let's go from the Meadowlands. Out west to Seattle. The Cardinals are at the Seahawks. I'm going over 51.5 points. Now, this total has come down. Finally, a play that is not square, because we've seen the total come. Oh, it's now 50.5. Fine with me. I'll take the over. I love that the money is pushing this total down. I think the over is certainly the right side. I think this game comes down to who has the ball last, because it's going to go back and forth all game long. If you take away Seattle facing that horrible Broncos offense in week 1, the Seahawks are allowing more than 34 points per game. So Kyler Murray should finally look decent for a week. And conversely, Geno Smith, out of nowhere, has been a revelation at quarterback for Seattle. He's led the Seahawks to scoring more than 40 points in each of the last 2 weeks. Money has flown in to push this total down, and now I definitely think the over is the right side. Finally, a pick that is not square, over 50.5 points between the Hawks and the Cards. I expect a complete shootout in the Emerald City.
Oh, you think this play isn't square? Jenks, I almost play this one, because it just looks like one of those games that's probably going to go over. Just because you look at both of these offenses and the way that Geno Smith has been putting up numbers. So I think you either play an over on this one, or you just play a bunch of props, because I do think there's going to be a plenty of touchdowns and yardage in this one. If you do want to watch that scoring festival kickoff set for 4 East, depending on the ALDS.
Pick six. Pick six.
Oh, yeah, there's still baseball going on, but I promise no Aaron Judge cut-ins, or at least we hope not. Next up for me, I'm going to go with the Jags +2 against the Colts. This number has moved against me, because initially I was on the Jags +1.5. I think the Jags have a chance to win this game outright. In fact, if there's ever a team that had another team's number, it is the Jags against the Colts. A perfect 6-0 against the number in their last 6 games against the Colts. Plus, their secondary has the 3rd most interceptions in the entire NFL. And guess who they're going against? Matt Ryan, who has 7 interceptions this season. And even worse when it comes to giveaways. If you look at the stat sheet last time, I'm trying not to overreact to the Jags' 24-0 win over the Colts last time out earlier this season, but you can't ignore that stat sheet. Matt Ryan, 16 of 30, 0 touchdowns, 3 picks, sacked 5 times. So I don't see this one going any differently. Let's go Jags +2.
Oh, I don't know what to think about this game. You know what? I think it's right, though. I cannot believe how wrong I was about Matt Ryan. You talk about old takes exposed, where I was talking about what an upgrade he was over Carson Wentz. Double D and I were discussing.
Everybody said that. Like, you weren't alone.
No, that's true. It's one thing to not meet an expectation. It's quite another to be, Matt just put in our chat, not me, because we kind of got into a debate
not me
over
either,
it.
clearly.
Yeah, well, I was wrong, flat out wrong. It's one thing to not meet expectations. It's quite another to falter as much as he has. A lot of people consider the Colts as a dark horse to win the Super Bowl, but they are completely lost. I like that Jags defense, and Trevor Lawrence needs to perform better this week. I think he does, so I'm with you. Let's take the Jags +2. Kickoff set for 1 o'clock on Sunday at the Indianapolis Kroger.
Pick six. Pick six.
That was awesome.
That was for you, Chelsea. That was for you. Here we go. Bengals at the Saints. The Bengals are laying 2 points. Open Bengals -1. Yeah, I'm going to take the cheap way out. I'm going to go Bengals money line -130 against New Orleans. At some point, won't the Bengals start generating some sort of offense? I think they do enough this week to get the win. We talk about how good that New Orleans defense is, but is it? Is that Saints defense really good? They're giving up more than 25 points per game. Look at the last 3 weeks. They gave up 22 to the Panthers, 28 to the Vikings, 32 to the Seahawks. They're getting worse. Plus, the entire Saints roster banged up from top to bottom. 4 receivers on that Saints offense sat out at least one day of practice this week. They're completely black and blue. They got, the red nut? Andy Dalton's going to be throwing passes. Yeah, they'll try Taysom Hill a little bit. The Bengals, again, only laying 2 points, but they are 7-1 against the number in their last 8. I'm going to go Bengals money line in case it's close. It's a cheap -130, and that is the play down on the Bayou.
I like all of these plays. That's the problem. I feel like we're either going to have a great weekend or we're going to get absolutely rocked, which I'm mentally preparing myself for.
I'm doing the same thing. After my terrible 1-3 evening last night, I'm under 500.
It was hockey, Jenks.
I know. I'm supposed to be good at hockey. I'm supposed to be hockey,
Jenks.
Jenks.
Of the season, and you trusted the Preds. I feel like the Preds always let me down.
That was a good spot. I'm telling you, that was the right call. Matt liked it. I liked it. There's no way the Stars should have won that game. But I'm like you. I thought I was going to be conservative, but then I start seeing all these plays, and I'm like, you know what? No, I'm going big. I've got 4 plays going into the weekend. For me, that's a lot. So we have so many squad plays, Chelsea. We're either going to blow up and hit a lot, or it's going to be an abject disaster.